Hey, you whiskey fans. It's been a while, I'm sorry, but I have some interesting ideas and things that I wanted to kind of work and test with you all. One of them being, do your flasks actually matter? This popped up in my mind because the more and more I've been trying to not stay away from beer, but as I go out instead of continuously buying beers here or there, I found myself rather filling a little flask of whiskey and bringing this with me. Anyways, with the weather being as cold as it is in Switzerland, sometimes I prefer a whiskey over a cold beer. And that got me starting to think, does it matter what flask I use? Should I be okay using a typical stainless steel Stanley or whatever other manufacturer? Or should I look for something a little bit more fancy, something like this, which is actually made of glass? This is Rag Proper. I guess you can see it kind of back here. And I gotta say, way heavier. Definitely feels way more robust. And I'm pretty certain it holds way less than this. But what I wanted to actually figure out was, does it matter? Does it taste any different? And to kind of keep it as steady and as fair and as scientifically possible as I'm interested in doing, I thought I'm going to open a brand new bottle of whiskey. I'm going to fill each of these flasks, not all the way full, but like 3/4 full. I'll explain that in a moment. And then I'm going to have this all sit here in the corner. Now, again, the weather right now is getting a little bit cold. It's about 10 degrees Celsius. That's like about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I wanted to do this test and see if I'm doing this primarily in the winter, how much will it affect me? Should I worry? Do I need to go buy more glass flasks, or are these pretty cheap and affordable stainless steel flasks going to be enough? I haven't decided exactly how long I'm going to keep these in the flasks for. Probably until the next time I need a flask. I do have a couple more like stainless steel ones at home, but definitely for about a month or two, you might see them hanging out in the back for a little while I wait for something or hopefully nothing to happen. So to do this, I thought, hey, let's get a brand new bottle of whiskey. I didn't want to go for something too fancy or too crazy. But let me say this, I have a philosophy about what is probably going to happen. And my gut tells me it's not actually going to be what the material is, but actually how they fasten and how good of a seal you're getting on the top when you close one of these bottles. So if you go for a lower proof alcohol, then all right, not a big deal. So you might get this effect a little bit more, oxidization. With a little bit higher alcohol, maybe we were masking that a little bit. But brand new bottle, just opened it. We're going to fill both of these 3/4 of the way full. And then I'm going to leave this bottle also corked so I can kind of come back to this and say, all right, this is what the whiskey tastes like. And let's compare it to these two guys. Armaan's back, but this time with a new face. We got Gian here to go over a little experiment that we tried. And I'm curious, well, let's say this before we dive into it, your background being...
No, I used to work in the industry for about 10 years now. I'm also a certified spirit sommelier. So I do really enjoy to taste spirits and feel the quality of them. And yeah, I'm quite curious about what we have here.
Perfect.
And yeah.
So spirit sommelier, I think you've been in the industry for around 10 years now,
That's
plus
right.
minus. You've worked for some Swiss distilleries, and you've worked where else? Some big Scottish ones, right?
Yeah, I used to work for the Scottish whiskey brands Glenfiddich and Balvenie, but as an ambassador here in Switzerland. Yeah.
With that, I'm very happy to make you drink some bourbon today.
Yeah.
And
First time. No.
yeah, right. First time wild turkey ever. Yeah. No, we've done
First time today.
First time today. There you go. But for about 6 months, I've laid different whiskeys. Actually, sorry, the same whiskey, this Wild Turkey 101, in different types of containers. I'm curious if you're going to be able to taste the difference here, because I wanted to make sure that we can do something that kind of needed two people. What we've done is we've got some Wild Turkey 101, probably the whiskey which I almost always have 1 or 2 bottles of here or there. I've emptied it begrudgingly to about, I'd say just over half, maybe 60%. And I've tried to fill both of these other containers with the same whiskey up about 60% full. The idea being that headspace is plus minus the same. And they've all been stored in this room. So they've actually been, what used to be above your head back there for about 6 months or so, plus minus.
Okay.
The idea being, are we going to be able to taste the difference? Let's say this, my first initial thoughts is there's going to be no difference. If there's a difference, it's going to be because these don't seal as well as this, or one of these don't seal. Meaning that the kind of material on the top, and they got tight. There we go. Like if you can see there, it's got like a cork inside.
Yeah.
And this cork you should actually be switching out every so often. So haven't done that, of course. But that's the cork. This guy has stainless steel, is stainless steel, but has a little silicone. If even, you can barely make that out there. And of course, the original has a full cork. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to turn around. I'm going to fill the glasses. I'm going to ask you to taste through them and see if you actually recognize the difference.
Okay.
And then write down what you think and then do the same for me.
All right. Let's do this.
Cool.
Sounds interesting.
Turn around. No cheating.
No cheating.
Probably should have made you go outside. Oh, shit. All right. So don't look yet. I'm not done.
Sorry.
I still gotta figure out what I'm gonna do here. All right, I'm gonna write it down. So we'll know what I did. Cool. All right, John, what do you think?
So those glasses
This means
don't
nothing.
belong.
No. So it's just,
to the bottles.
it's been rearranged completely.
Okay.
All I ask is when you put them back down, don't mix up the order. So leave them 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. All right.
By the way, I haven't smelled them yet either, so.
Oh, it's hard.
I imagine it's impossible. But that's kind of the test, right? Because, again, 6 months is too long, in my opinion, for a flask. You're usually pouring it to drink it relatively quickly, not to store it.
Probably there wasn't enough air inside the bottles to change anything in this short period of time.
What's also pretty interesting to mention, that's Stanley. I've had this flask for maybe, I don't know, probably close to 5 years minimum.
Okay.
And
Always
used
in
it
use.
often. Almost always in use.
Yeah.
I think that was my golfing flask, so almost always in the golf bag. And then this one here is newer, I would say about 3 years old.
Yeah.
Also almost always in use, and I have not swapped out the cork on the top.
Yeah.
So they're both relatively well used. The bottle's only been open once.
There is no oxidation. No particulars from the material. I don't know. For me, I'd say they all taste exactly the same.
You can give them a sip too if you
Yeah.
think there's going to be something on
Next
the palate.
sip.
Yeah. Again, Wild Turkey 101 at 51% alcohol or 50.5% alcohol or 101 proof. I'm almost curious if we picked something that was 40, if you would taste it more.
That's a good question. Yeah, let's try it out in another.
In another video, yeah. It'll take another 6 months at least. What's also pretty important is in this room, essentially the temperature is always like this. I have to look and see, but maybe I'll edit it in and write it somewhere. But humidity is kept low. They have grain, which is stored pretty close to this. So I keep the humidity low and temperature relatively cold as well. Also, because I have all this other whiskey here, I wanted to make it a little bit more stable.
Yep.
So the whiskey or the temperature wouldn't be messing with it as much as the containers are good at storing it.
I guess that's way more important where you store those containers.
Yep.
You have much heat around. I could imagine that something happens inside, but
Yeah, without
for
so
this
much
stable
heat.
climate, I don't see any difference.
No
at
difference. Okay, do you want to make
Maybe-
a guess? What was what?
all. Just for blaming me.
No, I'll do it
No,
too
no, no.
afterwards.
But we can try to dilute it a little bit with
Yeah,
water,
for sure.
just to be sure. But yeah. So
I usually don't even mess with distilled water. It's so much. Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
distilled water. No minerals. It's
100 proof, all in.
well, not for my sample. I'm gonna need all new glasses.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
making a mess here. Just by nose. There are more aromas coming, but nothing that gives me some hints
Yeah.
about the bottles. Not at all.
I'm almost curious.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know, and I don't know if it's in my head. I'm very curious to see if when I do this, if I can kind of tell a difference. But I smell one that's different
Okay.
than the others.
And what's different?
It's a little bit milder.
I don't see it. That was actually it was my first thought after the second sip, of the second glass. It's milder, but I think probably because I got used to the palate,
Yeah.
the alcohol.
Just off the nose.
Yeah.
Just off the nose. I thought this one
Mhm.
was the most, I would say, like true to its original, even after being watered down. Still had a little bit of cherry, a little bit more like concentrated sweetness. It's funny, almost this way to that way. This one was okay along the same lines. Actually, sorry, this one, let me just check these two again. Yeah, it's funny. Almost like that. That's the strongest. This one's in the middle, and this one is the weakest.
It's funny because if you'd force me to name the mildest, I'll go the opposite line.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
I need to take some sips. I'm just super curious now. Well, also too, I think now that it's kind of rested all that water that you've added.
yeah. You can see some or smell some changes after it was diluted, but in the end we are trying to figure out if
Very, very small difference, yeah.
if there is a difference because of the material, right?
And I think more than anything else, the lids.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, they say stainless steel will affect it, but let's be honest, in most of these manufacturing sites, whiskey is stored in a stainless steel container for who knows how long. They might just name the containers nice and beautiful things and make it sound better.
Yeah, it's hard to say after
Back and forth, 4 or 5 sips.
yeah, but if this was a blind tasting, you put in front of me those 3 glasses without saying anything about the bottles and ask me, are those the same or are there any differences?
You know,
I'd go with
we have
it's the same.
because I'm curious. I think most people, just generally, when you put 3 whiskeys in front, and this theoretically all the same whiskey, right? Not theoretically, it is all the same whiskey. They will say, "Oh, these are all bourbons. Oh, maybe there's a mild Scotch, or something like that." Their first thought will never be, hey, are these all the same, or what'd you do to them? They taste slightly
So
different.
now, I'd say now there are more aromas inside this.
This one?
Yes.
Probably because I told you.
You know, already forgot that.
Yeah, okay. What are your guesses? Because I want to do this to me too
Yeah.
and see where I
when I have
get
to
so
name.
lost.
So, let's say I go with the marketing. The one that smells the best to me is the best container.
Okay.
Second, third. But yeah, let me try again. With a lot of imagination, you could say you have some influences of oxidation inside this.
Could this be all the water you added?
Could be. But this still smells more like some minerals. So
Distilled water, by the way. There's no minerals in there. So if you smell that, that's coming from the whiskey or the containers.
Less oxidation. So I say this one belongs.
Yeah, just move what's behind. So do this.
Exactly.
You think it's like this?
Yeah, I'd go like this.
Okay.
Final answer.
Final answer. You actually said it right at the beginning. This is this.
Yeah.
And I think this is that.
Yeah. So then I said this this kinds of
So that the mineralization that you were saying
could be from the stainless steel.
Yeah.
But it's so slightly the aromas. If I drink out my my stainless steel flask, I wouldn't care at all.
Yeah. No
one does.
Right. And to me, the biggest difference, more than anything else, is when I was thinking about this, I can't really tell you if the stainless steel bottle's ever clean.
Okay.
And usually you have welding inside, right? So I was always more thinking that the welding would hold something, and maybe that's a different whiskey. And I have no idea what was in here before.
Some flavors.
Exactly.
Yeah. Could be.
But interesting. I mean, again, these two I expected to be almost the same, which you kind of
they are almost
yeah. But it was interesting. Your initial guess was right.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do now is we'll take a little short break, get new glasses, pour these out. We're gonna use the same glass, and then I'm gonna turn around. You can try the same, and it's my turn.
Let's go.
Cool. I'm very curious. It's gonna sound horrible. We stepped out quickly, and you were saying how you changed your dishwasher soap.
Yeah.
And how that changed the smell of it. I just smell soap now. Wild Turkey 101.
So
Zero difference.
The first step is
zero.
so hard.
It's like nothing.
Actually, knowing there could be any difference, but you can't smell anything is.
So I was looking for something to be, again, because I kind of know, plus minus. I was expecting to find one that's very different.
Yeah.
No.
What's your strategy?
What was to find two which are, let's say, glass, cork sealed, and to find one that's just a little bit off. I didn't expect it metallic, but just to smell slightly off.
Yeah.
And to get 1 out of 3 rights. It's interesting. So this one I would say is a little bit more vanilla, a little bit more, if you want to try it, a little bit sweeter. If you want to compare it to one of those two, and see if that's how you kind of see it.
You have definitely more vanilla
On
the
this one,
first.
right? Yep.
But it's not that easy while talking during a tasting, because when I say apples, you will smell apples inside.
Well, here's the thing. I told you my strategy. Now, okay, I have more vanilla in one.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Nothing. I definitely think this one has more on the palate.
Mm-hmm.
This one kind of gave me more wood, which is pretty interesting. A little bit of a longer, like tannin bite. I attribute that a little bit to oxidation.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully or wrongfully is kind of hard to say. But if I have some barrels which oxidize,
Yeah.
and some whiskey that oxidizes too much in the barrel, I find I get a lot more tannin, and everything else just kind of goes down. So my first guess would be that that is stainless steel, without tasting this last one.
It's interesting. I have to cheat a little bit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So interesting for me, I'm curious if you want to take a sip, the finish, other than this one having a bit more vanilla, this one having a little bit more vanilla, a little bit more sweetness on the nose, the finish on these two is a little bit, but the finish is the only difference that I taste.
Okay. And this could really be because of oxidation. Huh?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's typical. Because the whiskey isn't that harsh anymore. More smoother. It's
Do you want to try any of them?
yeah, sure.
You don't have to, but
Maybe it doesn't look like, but it's really interesting.
in my opinion, it's exactly what's in front of the glasses, or behind the glasses for us. So here's this.
Nothing
this
has
is this.
changed.
You changed nothing. You set it up just at my guess.
Final guess. You don't want to use any water?
You finish your samples, and then I'll add some water, and let's see. But I imagine water will just kind of subdue the finish even a little bit more. I wish I brought some water kind of to clear my palate. How much is in here? All these glasses are pretty much at zero,
It's
so
like
we'll put.
It's like a game show right now. Is this
Yeah,
your
for
final
sure.
answer?
You're
Or
right.
do you want to change anything?
And then we'll just add 2, 3, 4, because that one's got
Nice.
a bit more in it.
Yeah. What's in general nice about this whiskey? The sweetness after you've tried them.
Yeah, that
Stays for so long. So nice.
for a $35 or something bottle. Oh my God. That's why I want to really use this too. A little bit more proof, so I thought it would stay. I usually fill a flask with 101. So if I'm making a cocktail or traveling or even mixing it with cola or Sprite or something when I'm out, I find almost nothing better.
I guess that's the most important sentence. It doesn't matter. They all
really doesn't.
taste good. Still.
But the water really changed it,
Mm-hmm.
at least this first one. Because last time when you added the drops, I didn't taste them before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really, the moral of the story is buy whatever flask
Yeah.
you want. It makes no difference. Or we're talking like 1 or 2 percentage points of difference after 6 months.
Yeah, yeah. And usually the spirit inside doesn't rest for 6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Hopefully you're
Yeah.
filling it, finishing it, plus minus.
Yeah. Earlier. Otherwise,
Now, I feel like after the drops, but again, the water amount is different, that this is now more intense than this.
interesting.
I am, the best would be, we now fill these up and try to match them back. No. I will stick with my original instinct that what's behind the glass is.
Okay. So
If I get this one wrong, I'm going to feel it really hurts.
So let me think. You say, yeah. zero right. So
Zero right.
this one belongs to the bottle. This middle one belongs to the
So let's do this. Okay.
glass.
And this, the
And
stainless
this is
steel is the
stainless
last
steel.
one. So
Yeah.
my favorite was the stainless steel.
Actually, yeah. So,
Shit.
is there any better proof for?
I was about to say no. I mean, the Stanley,
Yeah.
the basic, the cheapest one is, in my opinion, actually sealed
the
it the
best.
most and kept a lot more of the vanilla. Interest. Okay, let's say this.
Yeah, but when it comes to the influence of direct light or light to the, in general,
bottle,
to the liquid, after all, it's the best way to store your whiskey because there is no chance to get in touch with some sunlight.
Yeah, that's
But
true. But
It's
so
possible, but
it's pretty thick actually.
Yeah.
I was thinking the stainless steel, this gets cold. You can feel this get cold.
Yeah.
Maybe if we did the same experiment in the summer, like you said earlier,
Oh, yeah.
this would heat up a little bit
Yeah.
more and you'd get more change. But
Yeah.
over the winter time, this is so we're doing this now in March. but
Sounds
this
like
was
the next challenge.
next.
How much does it take to change the whiskey inside the stainless steel?
I don't know if I have that much patience. Again, I think more than anything else, we're waiting. Unless we put this in an oven and really try to like speed it up, we're waiting for the seals to kind of go bad, in my
Yeah.
opinion,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
But hey guys, I hope you found it as
Yeah.
interesting as we kind of did. I mean, I think
Had
you
some
got none right. Did you get one right?
2 right.
You got 2 right.
No, that's not possible. It's 1 right. I had the stainless steel, I figured out, but
You know it's recorded, right? So whatever you say now is only going to be proven right or wrong.
yeah,
in
no,
the
no,
edits.
in my opinion, back, I switched those 2.
Okay.
But I figured out right the
stainless steel.
but I think it was luck.
Yeah.
Because there was a slightly difference that led me to,
This is interesting.
to think it was stainless steel.
There is a small difference.
But,
you do smell a difference.
But the funny
Taste.
thing is, I choose stainless steel because it was the baddest whiskey in my opinion,
Same,
and for
completely
you,
same.
it's the best.
Yeah. No, but similar for me. This one, the bottle, is the one which I thought was the mildest, the least, had held on the flavor the least.
This does make sense because there is by far the most air inside.
Headspace,
Yeah.
yeah.
The biggest headspace by far.
Yeah, I tried to keep them plus minus the same fill level, but yeah, if you're talking just oxygen particles, by far there's way more. But there's also more whiskey, so you guys, if you're looking to buy a different, fancy, or more expensive flask, I don't know if you need to. Just stick to whatever you got. Drink whiskey, enjoy it, and don't get sold like I did to spend way more money than you need to on something that might look cool, and in practice, in theory, I do like how there is this glass and you know exactly how little whiskey you've got left. But this being 100 milliliters, it's about 2 pours and it's gone.
Yeah.
2 good pours. Yeah, I have to say next time I'm going anywhere, and definitely with this, because even if I lose this or I go to a club or a bar and they say, hey, what's this in your pocket? You have to throw it away. This doesn't hurt me to get rid of. The whiskey hurts more.
Yeah.
That's, and I'm not going to be going anywhere with a full bottle, but that was just like to be like the ground sample.
Yeah, sure.
But hey guys, hope you liked it. Whatever you're drinking, however you're drinking it, cheers to you. And until the next time, bye now.